Well, 4 matches remaining. The Bayleaf Blasters, they have 1. The Cinnamon Pacers, they have 2. Today, we are here for one of the 2 encounters, and we are going to have the toss. Match referee, Mr. Norman Gilbert, is here. Captain Micah Narayan and Captain Ryan John.
Tail is the call. Tail it is.
All right. So, Ryan won the toss, and I'm not asking, I'm telling you that you're going to bowl.
Yeah, definitely have a bowl first.
All right. We've seen that as the trend. Total, you're looking to restrict them?
Anything under 100, I would back my batsmen to chase that.
Okay. We've seen yesterday 100, just maybe 110 has been really tough to really keep a score. So maybe you're looking for 120, 130?
No, we obviously bowling first, so we want to get them under 100. Given the surface, maybe he's a little bit tired as we've played the majority of the competition on that same surface. But hopefully we can go out and do the job today.
All right, well, you need to really have your bowlers come to the party. They've bowled well. Who are the key persons you were looking at as you talk about the wear and tear on the wicket?
In this team, we're not looking at any specific person. We're playing as a unit, and any given day, anybody can put their hand up, and we're hoping that somebody or some persons would do it today.
All right, well, good luck to you today, Ryan, and we wish you all the best as you continue in the tournament.
Thank you.
I'm going to be speaking with Micah Narayan. Micah, the fortunes really have not fallen your way. Number of injuries. Your team seemed to be struggling somewhat. Do you think you have enough reserve to pull off a victory today?
First of all, let me thank the Almighty. I mean, yes, it's hurt to see key players getting injured, but at the end of the day, cricket still have to play. So we're coming out here and play cricket.
All right. So you're going to be batting first. Targets in mind?
Well, if I had won the toss also, I would have been batting first. So anything over 100 is a plus. And I think we have good bowlers that can defend anything over 100.
All right, well, good luck to you today, Micah, in this encounter. And so there you had it. That was the toss. We're getting ready for the start of another day of the Dream 11 Spiceisle T10. See you shortly. All right, well, that was the news from the middle. The Cinnamon Pacers, they won the toss and they are going to take to the field. And shortly you're going to see them as they head out. The umpires, they are heading out. And so we are getting set for the last 4 games. We have 4 games remaining in the preliminary round. And then we get ready for the playoff. These are quite important games for all the teams involved. The Cinnamon Pacers, they will want a win here today just to move them closer to the top. While the Bayleaf Blasters, they are languishing at the bottom of the table, and they will want to get a win here just to push them up a bit further and maybe just see if they can push themselves into a qualification spot. It's highly unlikely, but I know that they will give it their best. The Cinnamon Pacers, on the other hand, they have a lot to play for. They have an extra game in hand. They still have another game to play. And so they will want to win here today to make sure that they give themselves an opportunity for a playoff berth. So it's all set. It's going to be a very interesting one. Let's see if the Cinnamon Pacers can back up the decision to bowl first. Maybe look to restrict the Bayleaf Blasters to under 100 and see how best they can chase down that 100. So with me this morning is Justin Hector. Justin, good afternoon rather. 11:59, so I still could say good morning. So we're going to get on the way at 12 noon. And so I foresee that the umpires in just a few seconds time will be calling play. And so we're going to get a bang on 12 noon start. Jumal Francis is the man with the ball in hand. And he's going to take up the attack from the pavilion end. It's cricket, lovely cricket coming to you from the Last Just playing field. Dream 11 Spiceisle T10. Here we go. And right away, Katoy lifts. It's going to run close to the boundary. Will be cut off. And so Katoy just using the pace of Francis there. Not really looking to power it away. And Francis has done well in the tournament so far with the ball. It's going to be interesting to see how he ends the tournament. Again, he goes. This time it's clean. It's way over the boundary rope. And he brings up the first carry power hit of the morning. A good looking stroke through the line of the delivery and bringing up carry power maximum.
From what we have seen from him in the past few games, he had been a little more sedate today. He seemed to be looking to be positive from ball one.
Yeah, we've seen him look to be positive. He's not afraid to use the aerial route, which we expect from T10 cricket. He goes this time. It's caught. He's out. He is out. Katoy goes. Francis with a pitch of a delivery really deceived him there. He seemed to have played a bit too early, taking the bottom of the bat. And Francis strikes.
Well, as I said, it was a different approach by Katoy. And sadly for him, it didn't last very long, just indicating there that the ball may have just come off the very bottom of the bat. And good movement too by the bowler. He got the ball to go away from Katoy. In fact, he was lucky on probably the first occasion to have gotten away with the one which went just over the top of the fieldsman. This time, the ball leaving him and taking the bottom edge of the bat. Maybe he wasn't expecting that amount of swing. But he's gone, and once again, third ball, first over, wicket number 1.
Well, the trend continues right here. Always we've seen very rare that the first over does not have its drama in the form of a wicket or maybe wickets, as we've seen in some occasions. And so the Cinnamon Pacers, they will be happy to see the back of Kieran Katoy. And now they will look to put some pressure on Micah Narain, who comes in to replace Katoy. He will be expected to play the captain's role. And we know that he's not a player that is afraid to raise his hand through difficult times, Micah Narain.
So
8 for 1, 0.3 overs. Francis with ball in hand. Notice there, Justin, that one did not swing into the right-hander, but he just kept his line. And so Francis just doing a bit with the ball so far.
Yes, and made it very uncomfortable for Micah Narain. Yeah, and as I said, he's doing a bit, getting some movement. Of course, it's very humid out there, and very little or no sunshine whatsoever. Narain choosing to take attack as the best form of defense on that occasion, not getting it the way he wanted it. Ball coming up probably more the inner portion of the bat and going down behind square, but he's off the mark. So pressure from very early on the Bailey Blasters, 8 for 1.
Yeah, that brings Dwayne Walcott to the crease. He's going to be facing up to Francis. What I make it should be the final delivery in the over. From the field set, he seems to just been asked to push it across the left-hander a bit. Let's see what he does. He goes. Walcott cuts. Just pick up a single. And so the first over comes to an end. It's a good over in the context of the way things started, but the Cinnamon Pacers, they will be happy. They would tell you that they are in the ascendancy because they've gotten to see the back of Cotoy.
Yeah, well, of course, it's a successful over, and they didn't go for much, probably 8 there. Well, of course, they would take that any day. 9, 10, in fact, for one. So it's reasonable, I guess, just a balanced over, 1 wicket loss, but 10 runs score. You just feel that even Stevens. And but probably the Cinnamon Pacers will be the happier of the two.
Yeah, Pacers certainly will be the happier of the two. At the start of this one, the plan was to restrict them under 100. And we know that the best way to restrict any team in T10 bowling is to pick up wickets.
Indeed. Very vital in any form of cricket, basically.
That's a Hooper.
Well done.
With ball in hand. He will be looking to add a bit more pressure to this situation. Yeah, they go for a quick single. Makes it in the end.
Michael Narayan probably a little slower than when he was a teenager. Not as quick between the wicket as he used to be. But still a very good judger and assessor of a run and the game overall.
Yeah, he is. Has always been a very good talent for Grenada ever since his under 15 days. Continues to do so with the bat. This time he cuts. Go through for a quick single.
So they need to do that. They need to keep the runs ticking over, keep rotating strike, and of course looking to put away the bad balls when they are available. As we see, a score somewhere around 100 is always difficult.
Good work.
Yeah, the Pacers very agile, and they know that they want to cut that under the 100. So you'll see them moving around, putting all effort into restricting the scoring. Oh, that one was pretty close. As the over comes to an end. So after 2 overs, 14 for 1, the Bayleaf Blasters are being sent into bat. They will be looking to consolidate. It's still 1 over in the power play, so they do have the option of going over the infield.
I think for them right now it's a case of consolidation, ensuring that they dig themselves in and try to be in a situation where they can launch a late attack coming to the back end of the innings. I think.
Well, Francis with ball in hand again. Narayan looking to go hard. He's going to get it past the man there at short fine leg. And he'll pick up a much-needed boundary for the Bayleaf Blasters. Fortuitous one, but fortune favors the brave.
Yes. Michael Narayan going for a big swing, basically. And if you were Francis, you probably wouldn't feel too badly about that. Ball peeling off the inner portion of the bat and going down behind square for 4.
Yeah, does have the field set, 2 men out on the leg side.
Bowled him this time.
And that's it. That's the delivery that he was looking for earlier. Pegging back the off stump Narayan goes, bold Francis. A really good in-swinging delivery. Beating all ends up. So you look at it here. Narayan covering the stump, but just leaving that little gap between bat and pad. And being bowled there by Francis.
Well, a very similar shot to the one he played previously. The only difference is that this time he didn't make contact and losing the off stump. One can see him trying to get deep in the crease, but really not in position to play that shot. It was a good delivery, just hitting probably just close to the top of off stump. And sometimes, as we always say, you need to show a little respect sometimes to a good ball. Yes.
Well, that moves Francis up the ladder in terms of wicket takers. He started the day on 5 wickets. He has gotten 2. So he now moves to 7. Quite a few bowlers in the tournament on 7. So he joins that group there.
Very good for the young man. And it's always interesting when you're a lefty, left-handed fast bowlers. They usually add something they bring something different, of course, to what we're most accustomed with.
So here he goes again, Francis. Dana George, the batter, replacing Narayan. He gets off the ball, pitched just about outside the leg stump, cannon into the pad. Had this one been on target, it may have been a different mood for the Bay Leaf Blasters. And they must now pull themselves out of what seems to be a hole. And this time, Walcott pulls. The chase is on, and will he save it? Yes, he does cut off Asif Hooper.
Yes, some good work down there by Hooper. And an appeal for a run out at the far end. Walcott probably just ambling into his crease, and Hooper doing the right thing, looking to go to the end where the batter back is to him. And we've seen on some occasions where batters go into the striker's end when the ball is struck straight down the ground. Always, sometimes they're lured into thinking that the throw will not actually come into the longest point, and more often than not, sometimes they get caught out.
Yeah, we've seen it happen here already. As Francis runs away. And he going hard is Walcott. And he's going to pick up a much-needed boundary for the Bay Leaf Blasters. So they are moving on. Moving at a run rate of just 8.82. Suggesting that they will get just about 88 if they continue along this vein.
Again, a shot not as controlled as probably Walcott would have liked, probably not getting the type of contact he really wanted. And reminiscent of the first shot played by the second shot, in fact, played by the first shot, in fact, played by Kotoy. The left-hander taking the ball away from him, and another over goes by.
Well, at the end of over number 3, it's 26 for 2. The Bay Leaf Blasters, they were sent in by the Cinnamon Pacers. And so far, Pacers backing up the decision to send them into field to bat.
Yes, they have done so well. When you win the toss and you send the opposition in, you probably would want to make some kind of inroads. And yes. I guess the captain would have assessed the conditions, probably with the fact that we haven't had too much sunlight beating onto the pitch. There may have been a little bit of moisture in the mind of the captain, and probably thinking that they can exploit that. So.
Well, Hooper continues. And here goes Walcott, spacing that gap there. That really didn't look as a ball that would get to the boundary, but it was really well timed and it dissected the two fielders.
Yes, and well placed too, directly between the two. and both fielder at wide long on and this and a straight along wide mid wicket on long on coming around and just being bisected by the ball.
One is good. One is good. One is
Walcott doing well so far. They look for one. They thought about the second. But certainly Walcott has raised his hand here. In spite of losing their captain, he's moved on to 15 from 10. Strike rate of 150.
Well, they got to keep going. Really think about it. They got to keep going. They got to place a good total on the board. As I said about the Blasters yesterday, they really haven't had the best of results. They've played some reasonably good games and just not been able. And bowl him again. Well,
yeah, when it's not going your way, it's just not going your way. And when the chips are down, you gotta find something to lift you up. And so far, the Bay Leaf Blasters have not found the formula to lift them up from where they are. They lose another wicket. It's 31 for 3. Dana George looking for the big hits. It was relatively short, but possibly a bit faster than anticipated, and he went through him really before he could get the bat moving.
again, the feet really didn't go anywhere. Just basically stood where he were, and he probably was looking to hit that somewhere square on the offside. As I said, the feet didn't go anywhere, and one can see the ball with a bit for a bit of pace, and the type of bounce he was anticipating, and lost his stump. Again, good length delivery by Asif Hooper, hitting just top of middle and off, and certainly getting the better of Dana there, and quite a difference in terms of the lineups. Today we see Dante Alexander out at number 5. He's there at number 5. We saw Dana, in fact, who normally comes in a little later down the order, has come up to number 4. So just trying different things, seeing how the Bay Leaf Blasters can put it together.
Well, Hooper with ball in hand. Again, this time just on the stump. It's the leg by signal there. But Hooper certainly mixing up the pace very well. We saw the first few deliveries to Walcott. It was a bit slower. But the wicket of George, he really pushed that one through. Yeah, this time just slowing it up again. Walcott not really having the position to really get it through the offside. Was a bit cramped. This time he goes a bit faster.
Probably. And a huge swing by Walcott. And whether he did make contact or not is irrelevant now, because the ball didn't go to hand. But it was the end of another good over by Hooper. Another successful over. And at the end of it, Bay Leaf Blasters, they are 32 for 3 after 4.
Yeah, 32 for 3, not really where the Blasters will want to be. Maybe this pair can blast them close to 100. But the way things are looking, it's going to be a very big ask. Noel sporting the number 8 on his back. He's coming into the attack.
Of course, West Indies started the tour of Ireland this morning. And one can say not the best of news in terms of the scores coming out of Ireland. West Indies at the moment posting a recovery, but 148 for 6 it is at the moment. Austin Chase is on 47, and of course Matthew Ford is on 24, providing some support. But it will be probably close to miraculous if West Indies would get out of that hole that they have found themselves in.
Noel has protection. So they get one. They're looking for two. It's really not there. Well, the thing about cricket is that once the mathematics is right, there's always an opportunity for a player to do his best and maybe exceed expectations. So it's never over until the fat lady has sung. And for many West Indian fans, they will be hoping that the fat lady will sing in their favor. Well, at the last just playing field, the Bay Leaf Blasters, they are trying to get a trumpet to sound here to let the others know that they are recovering from what would be a disastrous start.
Yeah. You have to think that they too have found themselves in a bit of a hole and looking to dig themselves out.
Yeah, they need to.
So at that rate, they will score 78, which will be too paltry a score to defend.
So Noel going for 3 so far in his over. Has 1 delivery remaining. Let's see if he can close off this over with a dot. Alexander goes. He hits hard. The fielder comes around. He drops it. Hooper not taking that catch there. Should have been the wicket of Alexander.
Well, lucky there. Delivery which was bowled from very wide of the crease by Gerard Noel. And Hooper probably had more than enough time to get across, settle under it, but never really was in control. And the ball popping out of the hand. And a chance there to Dante Alexander. So he could have been 4 worse, 36 for 3 at the end of over number 5.
Yeah, so at the halfway mark, 36 means that you're getting just about 75. Will not be enough. It will take a really bad effort from the Pacers. They fall short of the 75. But one expects the Bay Leaf Blasters to get a much better score. Still have a few persons in the hut that can hit the ball. Kelshawn Andrew is there. We also have, well, Alexander is out now. Delon Joseph is in there. He can pull the long handle as Scott Murray comes into the attack. But fielded there by Hooper.
So it's left to be seen whether the strategy employed by the Bay Leaf Blasters will pay dividends, because a couple of the probably more established batters haven't come to the crease as yet.
Yeah. Are a bit short on firepower. Douglas out of this match. And we know that he makes a difference. And Joseph also out injured. So they have a number of injuries. But they're forging on, the Bay Leaf Blasters. Murray to Alexander. Yorker length delivery. Just swinging past the bat and going down to the boundary. The umpire signals 4. And so he seemed to have gotten the inside edge that took it away from the stumps.
Yes, a delivery which was very full, almost Yorker length, and Dante Alexander, being a very tall man, just managed to dig it out on the ball coming off the inner portion and going fine for 4. Ooh, but that's
It
a
goes
beautiful
high.
shot.
And it's
Well,
going. And it's gone. That's a carry power hit for Dante Alexander. Didn't seem like he really got to it, but the swing that he had was just good enough. As we look at it here, he really got into a good position to whip that one. Never really tried to keep it down.
a really risky shot. And the final, we're looking to go big again this time, not making contact. Maybe a little bit quicker by Cut Murray on this occasion. So 49 for 3, so the 50-run milestone will come up shortly. And it probably took a little longer than they wanted.
Murray with his final delivery. Let's see what he does.
Hasn't done much. In fact, has paired it down the leg side. And an extra will add to the total. And that will certainly bring up the 50. 50 for 3.
50 coming up in the 6th over. Shot delivery there. And given wide by the umpire.
Yes. Dante, although he's a very, very tall man, that was well over the shoulders. And quite rightly so, being called and signal wide by the umpire. So, extras contributing.
Alexander pulls this one. It's not going to get to the fielder there. Wasn't really timed well enough. And that brings an end to Cut Murray's over. A none for 14 from his first over. The score moving on to 53 for 2 after 6 overs.
Yeah, 52 for 3. Means that the Blasters will have to probably just be a little bit more extravagant in their stroke play. They'll have to press on if they're going to reach close to or go past 100. As the Stevenson Warm slips into the chair, say good morning to you, Pastor.
Good morning, Justin.
Yeah.
And morning or afternoon, as the case
Afternoon,
may be.
yes, in fact.
Wherever.
It's such a
we've gone
cool
past.
morning.
Yeah, we've gone past morning.
Yes, but it's such a cool morning. Of course, the absence of the sun. One expects afternoon to be beautiful sunshine and all of that.
So, Bailey Blasters 52 for 3. They're probably not very happy with the score. No, they're just at over 8.5. Which at this point should be thinking about up to 9 or 10. But just over 8, not the best scoring rate.
That's
Off the
smart.
back
That's
foot.
cute.
And will in fact go all the way to the boundary for 4. Short, just erring in terms of line and also length. And Alexander was onto the back foot really quickly and cut that behind point for 4. It's moved on to 19 now, and the Bailey Blasters, they've welcomed that boundary. 56 for 3.
You must say how good a shot it was by Alexander, known basically for his power, his strength, his big hitting, but there was just some finesse there, just allowing the ball to almost pass him and glide it past the fielder. And trouble there.
Oh, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. No, not gathered well by Noel. He has only himself to be blamed. The throw came in. There was a bit of stutter, start and stop. Then they decided to go for the single. By that time, they were really in danger. And Noel didn't gather the ball. I think he must have panicked.
I think there were two things which happened there. It could have been a chance also at goalie. Alexander cut it in the air and it went low to the man at point, backward point. He didn't hold on to it and they still had a second opportunity which he didn't grasp.
This one is hit down to the mid-wicket area. They won't come back for the second. The return comes into the keeper. So I think might be just one more delivery to be bowled in this over. The field just changing around to accommodate the right-handed batsman. Short and looking to pull that from outside the off stump. Doesn't make contact. The over comes to an end. So 7 overs gone. It's 58 for 3. Alexander, they're on 20 of 14 and Walcott 19 of 17.
Yes, and not really going anywhere in terms of increasing the scoring rate and probably pushing towards that 100, which probably will make it a little bit interesting. It's not to say that maybe if they get to 90, 85, 90, it may not be interesting, but you just have the feeling that 100 is probably more something that would challenge the opposition more.
Yes. I've always said that in a T20, T10 rather, you must be thinking of over 100. Anything under that will be quite chancy. Outside the off stump, opens the face of that and belts that down to deep extra cover. They're going to come back for the third. They've got to hurry.
Right.
The return comes in. Not the best one, but they got 3.
And
It just seemed to be unsteadiness and indecision between these two running between the wickets. This is the second time in 2 overs that they've been a little iffy. But they got 3. All is well. They say that ends well. Chad Duncan into his first over. 3 runs coming off his first ball.
And they probably still the umpire just checking to see whether they got in contact with the boundary. So we can have a look too. That may well be given as 4. Yes, if you look at it, it probably yeah.
Very interesting that. It's like a tangle of bodies. Might be called safe. Of course, we've got technology here that would help to confirm.
That's the crucial time right there where Asif Hooper, who were involved, probably may have just been beyond the boundary. Yes, and the signal come now from the umpire. So it's 4 runs.
Welcome boundary for Bayleaf Blasters. So Walcott's total is going to be changed now to 23. It was 19. We were waiting for confirmation. And the umpire signaled 4. 62 now for 3. Off the back foot is Walcott and just pushing the ball out to a deepish extra cover. It's a comfortable single. So the West Indies chasing a huge total, over 300, scored by Ireland. And they're 160 for 6, which takes that from outside the off stump, pulls it in front of square, and that's going to go all the way for a carrier power hit maximum, short, sat up, and asked, pleaded to be spanked in front of square. And he did so, and did so well. Went all the way. Good shot, Alexander. Yielded 6.
Yes.
So the West Indies they've just lost another wicket.
And a chance for another wicket here, but Centelea cannot quite get it. And of course, a chance for a run out this time.
This time he goes.
Yes, well, I don't know what is wrong. Dante Alexander, for the second time in the tournament, we've seen him running out. Really a poor judge of a run. He should have been run out earlier. This time he ensured that the run out were complete. So these batters have to, they never seem to be communicating the way they ought to. The chance went down and...
Yeah, those were 3 occasions, in fact, where there have been misunderstanding between Walcott. They just didn't seem to get it right at all. And in the end, it's not surprising that he was Alexander, of course, going through the run-out route. I mean, yes, it is a legitimate mode of dismissal. That's why it is important to communicate and also obey the basic laws of the game, or rules, or expectations, if you want to put it that way. Delivery outside the off stump to the new batsman Walcott. Flashes at it, doesn't make contact. It's so important, Justin, to call. And of course, if the ball is in front of you as the striker, it's going to be your call. If it goes behind the batsman, it's the non-striker's call. Lifted over the deep backward square area. It's going to be a long chase. And goes over the boundary line. 4. Welcome boundary. It's a bad delivery. And onto the back foot. Delivery by Duncan that was much too short. Yielded 4, so 8 overs gone. It's now 74 for 4.
And we will Benjamin, who haven't really had a great season, haven't had lots of runs behind him, will be happy to have gotten this one down behind square. And take the total on to 74. So there are still dreams and chances of getting 293 to 100 possibly. And if they do, they would think that if they bowl and feel very well, they can at least provide probably another nerve jingling climax to this game.
Yeah, I think it's what people want to see. Generally, they don't want to see a lopsided, one-sided victory. Let the game get as close as possible to put thrill, suspense, intrigue, and with all of that combined, it tantamounts to excitement. Delivery outside the off stump, just slashed at it, and may have come off the outer portion of the bat and went out just behind square. So Ryan John has had a modest tournament by his standards. He's very meticulous with his field plays here. Benjamin, as Justin also said, not having the best of tournament either. So here's John to Benjamin, who hits that in the air down to long on rather, and didn't quite carry. And the batsman had time to cross for 1. Sometimes, if you're fortunate enough, you don't strike it that well, so it doesn't go down to a fielder. And generally, that's what you want to do, strike it well.
Very much so.
But I've seen so many, on so many occasions when the ball was not struck very well, allowing the batsman to get away with it. So here's John with his third delivery in the over. And hits that out to the sweeper position, deep at cover. And they get a single.
So 77 for 4. Wavell Benjamin, who is on strike, is on 5 from 3. Dwayne Walcott is on 26 as John moves into bowl to Benjamin. Benjamin smashes that down towards, goes down towards long off. And another single can be had. Singles is not probably the best option now for the Bailiff Blasters. They would want to push on a little further. As John bowls short again outside the off stump, and Walcott can do nothing except he had a swish and the ball goes to be taken by the wicketkeeper. So the end of over number 9, 1 over to go. And with that, probably fading dreams of getting up to the 100 that we were probably supposing that they should at least try to get to, at least make a decent game of it.
Yeah, but the Bailiff Blasters will, at this point, think about this over being probably the most crucial over in their innings. It's the final one. They're 78 for 4, and they've got to make this big. They must be thinking here at least 90. And to get there, they need to score 12 in this final over. Now, can they do it? So here's the final over coming up. Ball on about the leg stump, just turned out to fine leg and gets a single. So they've not played the best brand of cricket, Bailiff Blasters. And I think they had sufficient time in the tournament to redeem themselves. I think you look at all the teams, though, and they would all confess that they could have done better. Here is Murray, lifted, and that goes over
the
long on area, and it went soaring for a wonderful 6. It's a carriacou hit. Well, he just stood there and delivered, so to speak. Murray, who tends to bowl in the desert, you've got to be very brave and skillful to do that.
It goes again, this time down the ground, and the fielder coming across and can get onto it. This time over mid-off, and it gone for 4.
So Murray is proven to be expensive here. And Walcott has pushed on to 36 of 25. Well, 2 blows got them to 89.
There's still chance now for 3 more blows. I may just get them to 100.
Yeah, but it does look much better at 89 for 4 than 78 for 4 with some 3 deliveries remaining. You've got to make use of this. Target to close to 100 or 100 if possible. Murray. Short delivery, just pull back in length. Big swing by Walcott, doesn't make contact. Dot delivery, rare one. It's just been told by the umpire, Murray, that you've got 3 more. Should be 2 more, shouldn't it? Just and a bit of adjustment. There's a deep backward square posted right back on the boundary, taken out from square leg. Delivery way outside the off stop. Would get a wide, and then it passes the keeper outside the leg stump, beg your pardon, and they will, in fact,
It goes for 4.
turn up with 4 more than they expected.
Or 5 because it did go. It was a wide.
Yes, so it was a wide. They'll get 5. So there's a possibility of getting to that 100 mark.
Indeed there is. Indeed there is. And they will have to back themselves. There are still 2 deliveries to go.
Well, that wide has to be bowled over. Very productive final over for the Bay Leaf Blasters.
Ooh, and that. And another wide. This time on height. And still 2 balls to go. 95 for 4.
Yeah, the 100, if posted, would be a psychological boost. You want to set the team at least above 10 and above to chase. Clipped down to backward square. They've hustled for 1. They will come back for the second. The return comes in to the keeper. It's a good one. But they've got sufficient time. The batters in Walcott and Benjamin got sufficient time to cross for 2.
97 for 4. And it's a good tumbling stop down on the backward square boundary by Nikosi Sentile. Probably saving 2 runs. And bowled him.
Good delivery there by Murray. Pitched up. And he was looking maybe just to force a drive through the offside. Didn't make contact. But of course, the ball made contact with the stumps. So with the final delivery of the innings, the Cinnamon Pacers, they've picked up a wicket. And so with Benjamin left not out on 5 of 6 deliveries, but it really was a good innings by Walcott of 38.
Yeah. Eventually bowled with the final delivery of the innings. And 97 could cause some sort of discomfort, I think, for the Cinnamon Pacers. Of course, they'll have to get off to a good start. Of course, they will depend heavily on Nikosi Sentile and Ryan John.
Yeah, that's right. Let's look at the bowling. 2 for 21 went to Jamal Francis. A little expensive, but important wicket. Asif Hooper, generally economical, proved that today. 1 for 9. And Custon Murray, who usually bowled in the deck, 1 for 32 of 2. A bit expensive, but capturing that final wicket. So 97 for 5, the total after 10 overs. Extras a little on the heavy side.
Yes, we've seen that in recent time, of course, the extras, and we've spoken about it quite a bit. And in this short version of the game, extras is the one thing that you have to look at very carefully, because you cannot be giving so many extra deliveries to the team. It's already short, it's 10 overs, and then when you give an extra over a 2, you already put yourself on the back foot.
Yes, so 97 for 5 Bay Leaf Blasters, and but might be just marginally satisfied with the total. But of course, as I said early on, they obviously wanted to get up to that 100 mark. So Katoy didn't really come off today. He had 8 of 3, a good knock there, rear guard knock from Walcott, 38 of 28 deliveries, batted very well. Dante Alexander, who unfortunately was run out by a combination of Noel and Williams, he went for 27 of 16. They were the main contributors. Narayan had 7. Dana George went without scoring. And Benjamin, that's Wavell Benjamin, not out 6 at the end of the innings. So 95 for 5. They're the Bayleaf Blasters. And they've got a total to work with. It's not a huge total. The run rate is just above 9.5, thereabout. So they will say to themselves, we'd want to restrict the opponent, the Cinnamon Pacers, of course, to that magical total of 97. So that's it here. Bailey Blasters 97 for 5, batting against the Cinnamon Pacers. And the Cinnamon Pacers, obviously, will try to chase that down. They'll go a-hunting when we come back. And welcome back here to the Dream 11 Spiceisle T10 tournament here at the Lassages playing field. We already had one match played. So this is the second. The first match, Bayleaf Blasters there. Sorry, this is the first match, beg your pardon. This is the second innings. I'm sorry about that. So Bayleaf Blasters, 97 for 5 of 10. And the Cinnamon Pacers would be now responding to that total. So they need to score 98 for victory. 98 for victory. And it'd be an interesting chase. It's not a big total, but it's a working total. Always say that if you're under 10 runs per over chasing, you know, that's not huge, but it is still a challenging one. So Cinnamon Pacers, they've got to go. They're as confident as ever, not overconfident, not doing anything rash, but would want to be very astute in the pursuit of 98 for victory. Still a lovely day. Haven't had any rain, no interruption. Not blazing sunshine, a bit of haziness around, but the conditions still clear enough. So it's going to be a wonderful chase, I hope, and let's hope that this generates as much excitement as possible. So it's going to be Alvin Ramnot bowls the first delivery. That is pushed back to the bowler. Nkosi St. Hilaire, who early in the tournament had a very good knock of 70 odd. Opening with Shondell Regis. Back up the order. This one is lifted down to the mid-wicket area, and they won't come back for the second. There was a thought about it, but St. Hilaire seemed to have just slipped and wasn't able to pick himself up in time after just about completing the first run. Regis now comes into strike and the field changing over to accommodate the left-handed batsman. So good opportunity for these two who are seasoned campaigners to show their skill, maturity and experience. Ramnat would move in. Bowls to Regis, who clips it just behind square on the leg side. Can't beat the backward square. Ball traveling much too quickly too, and straight to the fielder. Off the back foot. Hits it square of the wicket on the offside, and both batsmen are now one from two. Steady over so far by Ramnot. Into his first over, 4 deliveries already gone. Just 2 runs on the board. Ball swung down to long on and gets a comfortable single.
So the Cinnamon Pacers are in search of, they need 95 more to win in 55 balls. And delivery which is swung down towards long on. The fielder comes off the wide mid-wicket boundary to do the fielding. That's Walcott down there. And a single to Regis. So Regis is on 2. As we come to the end of the over, the end of it, it's 4 for no loss. The Cinnamon Pacers, of course, 94 more needed in 54 deliveries. And Centile, who is on 2. Chandal Regis on 2. And they'll be looking to overhaul that 97 that was made by the Bailiff Blasters.
And just in these two players, I think overdue for a good total.
Well, Centile have had 150 so far in the tournament, but haven't managed to replicate it probably as often as he would like. Came into the tournament, of course, with reasonably good form. They scored a number of runs locally. Just maybe today might be the day when that form returns. There's a delivery down the leg side, and Regis cannot get back onto it, but a single will go on to the total by way of extra.
He might think that he missed out there with that ball down the leg side. Maybe it was a bit too far, but there was an attempted flick down to long leg and didn't make contact.
So Dana George took it a little bit tight. Trouble caught. So
Well, he's had such a miserable tournament. Is Reggie's short delivery, eyes lit up, and maybe looking to uppercut it. Didn't connect well, the catch taken, and so Reggie's goes. He must be a disappointed batter.
well, this time not in quite in the first over, but in the first delivery of first legal delivery of the second over, we've seen the fall of another wicket, and wicket continues to tumble earlier on, and the Cinnamon Pacers and probably the Bailiff will start to believe now that they have a chance, can pick up another wicket or two. I think.
Ram not picking up the catch. It's been a miserable performance by Regis, but it happens with all batsmen. Sometimes you go through a tournament and never come off at all. And there are other times, Justin, when you just can't do anything wrong.
That. Especially when you're struggling a bit with form. Nothing just ever seems to go your way. See, fortune favors the brave.
Sometimes. Daniel Williams comes out to join Nkosi St-Hilaire. With Cinnamon Pacers, they've got a setback. They're 5 for 1 in over number 2. Still another 93 runs remaining. Might turn out to be an uphill target. Big swing at that one and misses. Daniel Williams. We have not had huge scores in the tournament, team scores, I mean, and then we have not had any individual huge total. Nkosi, of course, St-Hilaire got 70 odd. We've had a couple of 50s, but by and large, ball has dominated the bat, and that bat did dominate that ball short onto the back foot. And Williams hit that for a carry power hit maximum through mid-wicket.
Of course, yes. True and high over mid-wicket it went for a carry maximum. Just probably waiting for something like that to almost and setting himself on the back foot and pulling it over the top. And that will settle some nerves to a certain extent, I think, for the Silliman Pacers. They haven't started very well either. Yeah, but they moved on to 11 for 1 in over number 2. And certainly a welcome carry maximum there for the Pacers.
I think that's good, and it's going to do Danny Williams some good and some confidence, and also inject some measure of confidence in the Cinnamon Pacers, because you just don't want to go trudging along, losing wickets in the process. You've got to be astute when you play this game. It's a short version, which means, Justin, that you've got to think fast on your feet.
Of course, and you have to be so calculative. Each and every delivery, you know, your whole match awareness, knowing where you are and knowing what you need to do when. I think all of that contributes towards the holistic way in which you need to go about in terms of, especially when you're chasing a total. Even so, it's sometimes a little bit harder when you're setting a total. As they always say, it's never too sure as to what is the ideal total. But when you're chasing, you have an idea. You got to keep calculating, and at least your whole match awareness, game awareness have to be A1.
Here's George. Delivery, pitched up, good delivery. Up into the block hole area. And I think the intention was to drive, but in the end had to come heavily down on it, or peeling off the outer edge and going to backward point. All the ones on the board. 11 for 1. Over number 2 in progress. Delivery that is hit. Fine shot. No, that's a lovely shot. Over the mid-on area. Couple of bounces. And then going over the boundary line. 4 runs. Neatly timed by Williams. Just came forward and didn't look to bludgeon it, but quite frankly, the timing was superb.
Yes, hit it well, and didn't look to keep it down, hit it back past the bowler almost, and George didn't really have a chance.
It was beautifully played with a straightish bat. Lovely, really lovely. Very easy and neat on the eyes. George again. That one is picked up and helped on its way down to backward square. As easy as Sunday morning. That was a lovely shot. Drifting down the leg side, just straying a bit. And he used the tide very well, Williams, and lifted it over backward square. 4 runs. That's a fine shot. And he's now begun to gallop. And he's timing the ball well. The over comes to an end. 2 overs gone. It's 19 for 1.
Yes, after being thumped over mid-wicket for the maximum, probably George did trying to basically over compromise for it there now, and going full around the close to the pad, and the left-handed player Williams said thank you very much, and he lifted it again over down towards backward square and picked up a beautiful another boundary.
There is an appeal. Was that an attempted stump? There's an appeal for stumping.
There was an appeal for stumping. Not out says the umpire didn't answer in the affirmative.
It's interesting because the keeper was just charging down, seemed to be confident, as if to say, I've got him. How's that, umps?
Well, the individual himself, well, if you know, it's Webber Benjamin, very animated, always trying to create something out of nothing.
Off the back foot, cuts well, fine shot, gets through the gap. It's going to go all the way. Yes, it does. 4. Beautiful. And I love the manner in which the gap was pierced. There was an extra cover and a cover which were just about 20 yards in terms of distance between those two. And he was able to thread the needle between those two, and it went smartly, fast, quickly, down to the boundary for 4. Fine shot. Well played, Nkosi. This time he is hitting straight, very straight, pipeline straight. 4 more. Beautiful shot. Played through the line of that delivery. So both of them in a hurry here. Fine shot. It's gone to 10. Sort of drove it on the up too. Lovely, really lovely. This time gets it on the fall, hits it hard over the long on area, and it goes for a carry power hit maximum. Oh, it was a bad delivery, and when they're bad like those, you've got to put them away. And he certainly did. Got under it, lifted it over long on in fine style, great power. 6 runs. And we're into over number 3 is 33 for 1. They're trudging along. Well, not trudging, they're galloping along.
For one moment, there was a spectator sitting over on the far end in the exact position where the ball went. They looked in immediate danger at the time. And I'm not even sure if they wasn't struck by the ball, but they seem to be all right. But what for sure they have done is to pick themselves up and pay more attention to what is going on out there.
Sure right. Ramnath, who had a good first over, now none for 18. Nkosi stung on long one leg and hits that over the long leg area, and that's gone for 4 more. So it's another boundary. Bad delivery, slanting down the leg side, and Nkosi went down on one leg, and he played it in a rather dexterous manner, rather skillfully, helped it on its way. 4 more, another boundary in the over, and he is raced on to 20 of 8. This is expensive. Off the back foot, cuts well. That might have sufficient legs to carry it over. It does. Sufficient power, 4 runs. Well, what an over this has been. It was short and it was skillfully played. Just made room outside the leg stump was Saint-Hilaire. And he spanked it really nicely. And there was a pursuit of that ball. The timing was so wonderful that it sped its way to the boundary for 4. And after 3 overs, what a dramatic change it is. It's now 41 for 1.
Yeah, 41 for 1 represents a comfortable situation now, a comfortable position now for the Cinnamon Pacers and probably the Bailiff Blasters. Probably still asking themselves, well, what else do we have to do? They just seem not to be able to get over the line, and certainly the results have deserted them. And the Cinnamon Pacers will be very happy with the position themselves found themselves in.
Oh,
and
yes.
of course, once Nkosi Saint-Hilaire is going, he will spin. Together with Daniel Williams, they have certainly arrested the initiative back.
I think was it 22 runs that came off that over? Well, it was expensive though. Dante Alexander will come in to stem the tide. Moves into bowl to Williams. Bat delivery down the leg side, wide, confirmed by the umpire. Extended arms, suggesting it's too wide. Cinnamon Pacers will have paced themselves really nicely here, set themselves up for what should be a pretty good victory. They're going at 14 runs per over, which is more than healthy, more than is required. Here's Alexander
Wow.
looking to pull, and does pull.
Well, no. That is out of this world by Kotoy. That
Did he
was
take
an
the catch?
amazing catch. It was short. It was Nico and of course Williams went on the back foot and he pulled it. As the watch replay, it had
Oh my
gone
golly.
past Kotoy a long
that
time.
has to be the catch of the tournament. Now we know his field ability. He is so good at catching, is Kotoy, and I think, quite frankly, even Williams himself was surprised. I was surprised because it looked as though it was going to go across the boundary. Now there came Kotoy running across to his left, and he hurled himself in quite spectacular manner that maybe any goalkeeper would applaud. Let's look at it again. It was violently hit, and it looked as though it was going to go for 4 or at least 6, and he leapt across. Now that is absolutely superb, magnificent. Now let's just go that over. Couple of things we need to look at, Justin. One, the coverage that he had to make, which was quite a bit. And then outside of the coverage, he has to dive almost vertically, pluck the ball out of the air, and then when he falls to the ground, that momentum, of course, maybe hitting the elbow, still had the frame of mind to keep the ball in his grasp.
And that was with
Whoa.
the body weight and everything going towards the boundary.
Sorry, Asif Hooper, if we didn't pay as much homage as we should to your first delivery, but it would remain in my memory for a very long time. The fact that we were replaying it over and over tells you what an amazing, spectacular catch that was out of the top draw. It's one of the best catches I've seen in a very long time. Fantastic, Kotoy. Really fantastic. Great work.
Well, it's what that type of effort. That's what you expect from these players. These players who have that experience, who have played at the close to the highest level. This is what they brings to this type of games.
Well. I'm stunned and absolutely mystified as to how he was able to make such great coverage, take the catch, and still was stable in mind to hold on to that catch and didn't allow it to get out of his grasp. Simply phenomenal. Okay, Alexander. Ball short and looking to cut. And the ball might have just dropped before it got to Benjamin by his signal by the umpire, 4 of them. And the Pacers have now gone on to 47 for 2.
Early on.
How high do you rank that catch, Justin?
Well,
I know we're talking about it quite a lot.
That's from the top notch. And what is even more remarkable is the fact that he had to dive backward almost backward towards the ball had almost already gone past him.
Beautiful. Really beautiful. Turn neatly. 2 forward square. They're coming back for the second. They'll get it quite comfortably. Well played with soft hand. And they collected 2.
Of course, the fielders are all very deep, and Saint-Hilaire, they're just pushing it ever so gently, just about 10 meters away from the actual from the pitch. And of course, this means that the closest fielder to it had to run in almost 60 meters. So that give them enough time to go for 2. And this time a delivery stayed away, and that will run away for 4. So good innovation by Saint-Hilaire. And he's certainly on top of his game today.
Yeah, he used the pace and the bounce well. Look how he got under it. That's right. And just open the face of the bat ever so slightly. Now, there was a short third man fielder, but it was a little on the wider side, and it went about 80 yards to his right. That quickly couldn't come across to turn it into a catch. That was skillfully played. 4 overs gone. The 50 has been posted. It's 53 for 2.
Yes, 53 for 2. And 45 runs needed in 36 balls. And if these two continue, I think they really shouldn't have a problem gathering those runs necessary to score another victory here today. And of course, to hand the Bayleaf Blasters another heartbreaking defeat.
45 of 36. That's the equation, sorry. And so the required run rate, just about 7.5. They're going at above 13. So that should not be a bother, the run rate. Some strange things do happen in cricket, you know. But if we go in sequentially, then Cinnamon Pacers should be able to pull this off. Here is Micah Narayan. And the ball is pushed up to long on by Hooper. Gets a comfortable single. Hooper is such a fine player. Loves his cricket. And plays with a great deal of astuteness. Very thoughtful. But he leans on his bat at the non-striker's end as St. Hilaire prepares to face Narayan.
Well, up goes the finger. And a big wicket there, the big wicket of St. Hilaire being sent on his way. Good delivery by Micah Narayan. Oh, he probably, was it going down in your view, Pastor? It looked to be missing the leg stump. The umpire, of course, is in the best position. But
I'll tell you what, too, Justin. After the ball cannoned into the pad, you may notice that he was moving that back leg, that front leg rather, and sort of outside the leg stump. And maybe illusionary. It may have looked as if it was slanting down the leg side, but you've got to look and see exactly the impact of the ball onto the pad,
well,
and not necessarily what happened after. It was a close one, though. So, Nkosi St. Hilaire gone. Micah Narayan picked up a wicket in his first over. 1 for 1. So this match still has life and interest. Full toss. Driven up to mid-off. They will come back for the second to extra cover rather. They get 2. So John immediately off the mark. 2 experienced players out there, both of whom are all-rounders, and have a fine opportunity to showcase their experience and skill.
Well, don't forget yesterday, we saw what wickets did. And so
Sure, right.
As comfortable as the Cinnamon Pacers may look or may feel, add 1 or 2 more wickets to the total, and it's a totally different scenario.
Yeah, falling of wickets can certainly be a hazard to any batting team. Here's Narayan moving in, this time to bowl to John. John comes forward and just pats it in front to square on the upside and gets a comfortable single. Just walked into the shot and turned it in front of square. So John is now 3 of 3. The over has ended. Yes, it is. It has ended. And after some 5 overs, it's 58 for 3.
Well, not a bad over at all there by uh, by Narayan. Well, one expects that from him now. He will come in and he will put us a break on scoring, which he did. And only 4 runs coming off, 5 runs coming off the over.
Just one more to go.
One more to go so
Sorry.
far. And one bang on target. And Hooper could do no more than to just push it back up the pitch on the onside. And Narayan, as I said, has completed a rather quiet over. Maybe 1 or 2 more overs like that, and it can create some anxiety in the camp of the Cinnamon Pacers, in the minds of the batsmen. Well, it's left to be seen, as we say. 57 for 3, still 41 runs required in 30 balls. And Asif Hooper, who has just come in, is on 1. Ryan John is on 3. And both men will need to settle themselves. And in the process, probably an opportunity for Bailey Blasters to just get well, 1 or 2, as we say, 3 overs in, maybe for not too many, and add to the pressure.
Yeah, and if one of these 2 goes, then it can be a very interesting situation in this run chase. 41 needed of 30. It shouldn't be that difficult, but you know what this game of cricket holds. Here is Alexander. Delivery down the leg side, wide confirmed by the umpire. Alexander would want to be very, very straight here. Want to be as economical as possible. He needs to get in a good over here. His first over was effective. 1 for 7. He's into his second. Wide again, signaled by the umpire.
This is the scene, you know. The extras. It means that runs are being added, but the over haven't yet begun.
And extras have gone to 9. That's quite a bit. In a total of 59.
So
that's too many.
Of course, it's a lot. It's more than over and a half virtually already gifted to the opposition. But batters in a tight game, that could totally make the difference.
Tuck down to long on and gets a single.
So we do find personally the game is taking on a similar pattern to what we saw the Blasters involved in yesterday.
Yes, they looked. It looked as though it was going to be an easy victory. And then with a couple of wickets falling, it just changed the whole dynamics and picture of the game. We're into over number 6. The required run rate is 7.66. Now that's not high. But with the fall of a wicket here, or a couple of good overs, that can be very interesting. Asif Hooper is coming forward and driving to long on and gets a comfortable single. But they both can hit the ball thunderously hard. Good cricket, really good cricket there by Ryan John, just tapping the ball in front of him, and the call was early. Took off for the single. So the Saffron Strikers coming up against the Nutmeg Warriors in the second of the doubleheader. Should be a good match. Here's Alexander to Hooper. That's a single. It's been a good over by Alexander. Just one more. His first over yielded 7. This one has yielded 8 so far. So he'd want to close off good, Justin.
Yes, indeed. He'll want to close off good. And, of course, they would want to, reel in a few decent overs, economical overs, and just push the rate up. Well, it won't be done on this shot, I don't think. No, it won't, as it goes all the way again. This time, Ryan John just picked it up and launched it over wide mid-on. And carry forward maximum. That will ease some of the pressure.
Yeah, I love how he hit it, you see. Hit it with consummate ease. No big wallop. Look at it. The timing was superb. He knew exactly where he wanted to hit it and propelled the ball in that area over the boundary line. Fine shot. Nice shot to end over. Just spoiling the average there of Alexander with that big hit.
Well, and
from 14 to 1 to 20. 1 for 20.
But you see, a batter sometimes treats the instrument. It immediately struck the 6 so nice, so clean. He changed the bat as if to say, well, you didn't do what I wanted you to do. I don't know how much more it could have done.
Sometimes it's about feel. Sometimes you take up a bat that you've been batting with for quite some time. The over comes to an end, 6 overs gone, 70 for 3. And the next day you pick up the same bat and it just doesn't feel the same in your hands. Hard to really explain, but it happens in cricket. Some players got their favorite bats. Some of them got their favorite gloves, favorite pads, as the case may be. And it's all just about how comfortable you are with the instrument or the tools that you have in hand. So here's Narayan. Moves into John. Sorry, to Hooper. And Hooper opens the face of the bat and hits that down to the sweeper position. Narayan thought about going back for the second. Sorry, that's Hooper. Thought about going back for the second and decided against it. Narayan was backing up very well. Over number 7 in progress. John comes in to strike. He's 11 of 8. Not swift going, but there's no need to be in a big hurry here. Narayan to John. There's an appeal for leg before. Not out, says the umpire. Confirmed. That's a leg by. As the batter saw the opportunity as the ball drifted behind square on the leg side to take the single. This ground, of course, that has now become fine shot by Hooper, pitched up, and he came forward and hit that slightly inside out, over wideish long off, And that has gone for a carry power hit maximum. Lovely. Really lovely. Of course, being a left-hander, it's always easier to just open the face of the bat and hit it sort of inside out. This time he plays it with soft hand and gets a comfortable single.
So
good batting, really good batting.
because the required rate now has gone under a runner ball, so should be very easy sailing here. 19 runs required, 20 balls remaining. And very often you see that in T10 where the runs are less than the balls. Says that you are in almost total control when figures like that are displayed.
I agree with you. 19 of 20. Narayan bowls to John, turns it behind square. Now they've hustled for one. They will come back for the second. The return is to the non-striker's end. So Narayan was in a bit of danger there, but the elderly statesman pushed and pushed hard and got there. No damage, no harm, no danger in the end. Good cricket, really good cricket. I did say Narayan, that should be Hooper. Sorry, I apologize there. That Hooper running back. Narayan, of course, bowling. He's 1 for 15. Like a warrior who's gone through so many battles, cricket battles. So he knows this game of cricket. Also John, they will go for a single. Ball pushed back past the bowler. So that completes Narayan's second over. It's 1 for 16 of 2. And with Hooper, 11 of 8. John, 14 of 11. Cinnamon Pacers. After 7 overs, 83 for 3. And they require, at 5 runs per over, 15 in 18 deliveries.
Well, one would like to think that all the 18 deliveries will not be required to get the 15 runs. Let's go Hooper and Ranjon. I'll just playing it on merit. Whatever is given, they accept. And that's all they need to do coming to the end of the innings. And the Bailey Blasters will be hoping now for something close to a miracle if they are to come back and really challenge for the win.
So West Indies women coming up against England women, and England women won the toss, decided to allow the West Indies women to bat there, 17 without loss. So pretty decent start by the West Indies ladies. After a dismal performance by the men.
Well,
and dismal probably is putting it quite mildly. So Dylan Joseph will make his way now to bowl to Ryan John, who is 14 of 11. Here he is now to John. John comes forward and pushes it out to mid-wicket. They're going back for the second run. They got it. And that's what happened when you put pressure on the fielder coming in, and the fielder maybe just lifting his head, realizing that there is the call for 2 and the attempt for 2. would just take the eyes off the ball. How critical it is to keep your eyes on that ball and allow it to go into your grasp before you seek to release. 2 more to John. It's gone to 16 of 12. 13 needed of 17. Pushes it just behind square and gets a comfortable single. I like that. It's a really good thinking cricket by John. As if both of them are saying that there's no need to try to go big and try to be overly impressive, but just play simple, sensible cricket. I think that's what they're doing there. Outside the off stump and cut down to backward point. They're going back for the second run. They get it. Now this is good cricket, really good cricket. And I'm saying good on the part of the batsmen who've been putting pressure on the fielders. And the fielders, they just look a little bit lethargic. Well, that one, he took that up from outside the legs and lifted it high over the mid-wicket area, and it's gone for the maximum. It's a carry power hit. Well, one hand was off the bat. What a shot there by Asif Hooper.
Well, as I said earlier, no way I think that they would require that 18 balls. They'll probably do it in the next one or two. Just one stroke away now.
Yeah, the shot before was quite an extraordinary shot.
And just like that, he has to go.
Yeah.
Probably trying to finish it in one ball and losing his wicket. But it has been a sprightly knock. It has been a knock that will ensure that, of course, Cinnamon Pacers secure victory.
Yeah, so Hooper goes for 19. Maybe a bit too ambitious. So he was there, caught by Andrew of the bowling of Joseph for 19. 19 of 11 balls. Stayed 26 minutes at the crease. Hit 2 sixes. Didn't hit a 4, but he played his role very well. He'll be pretty happy with those 19 runs and brings his total closer and closer to victory. Carson Murray joins his skipper Ryan John, 94 for 4. I don't think that they will want another wicket to fall here.
No, I don't think so. Only 4 needed. There's still, 13 balls remaining. You just can't, I don't want to say you can't lose it, but you shouldn't from there.
You're right. Shouldn't. Highly improbable. So here is Joseph moving into Carson Murray. So a dot ball to complete the over. 8 overs gone, 2 remaining. Cinnamon Pacers. They're 94 for 4. Just 4 runs of 12 legal deliveries. We probably may not go into the 10th over.
I'll be very surprised if it does. If it does, I'll probably have to say, okay, share the victory.
Guys, I don't think you saw the sort of spirited efforts in the Bayleaf Blasters fielding. Yes, a spectacular catch by Kotoy, fine, but by and large, quite frankly, I think they could should have been a little bit more sprightly in the field.
Well, I think the cinnamon pieces, of course, didn't really and truly didn't allow them to display that, because basically from the start they were on top of things. They bowled pretty well, and then they started the innings. Although they lost an early wicket, but it really didn't say anything. And yes, that's it, of course. It only took one ball in the ninth over to get over the line, and the cinnamon pieces have done it, and done it quite easily in the end. As Ryan John, good to see that John has certainly looked good and has come up with some runs. I think he really haven't had too many opportunities to. I think to Pastor, that one of the things we want to see is that these players probably bat a lot higher up the order, give themselves more deliveries to execute their skills and so on and so forth. But again, it's about opportunities and giving others opportunities, and that too is understood.
We want to call that a captain's knock, and bringing his team home by 6 wickets. And he played with great maturity and skill. Ryan John, coming out or securing victory and not out at the close of the innings. 21 of 14, had a 6 and a 4, and by and large it was a good spirited performance by the Cinnamon Pacers, who won this game and won it quite handsomely by 6 wickets in the 9th over.
So yes, the Cinnamon Pacers will be happy with that. They've lost 1 or 2 recently, and certainly feels very good for them to be back in winners' row. So as the formalities are being performed, Cinnamon Pacers won by 6 wickets, and certainly one hopes that what on the weather, Pastor? It's pretty overcast, it's pretty dark, but no real rain around. We haven't seen any rain around. We hope that it will continue to remain that way. And
well, you're saying that as a cricket commentator that you hope, and I'm sure that there's some folks somewhere about who are doing farming, and they're saying, well, we hope that the rain would come. Let's look a little bit here at the bowling figures in Ramnath, who started off well but was in the second over. None for 26. Dana George 1 for 15 of 1. Dante Alexander had 1 for 20. Micah Narayan, pretty good spell, 1 for 16 of 2. And Dylan Joseph picked up 1 for 11. Olive, just 1 delivery that was hit by John, and that went for 4. So in the end, 98 for 4, and they won of 8.1 overs. St. Hilaire batted very well for 30 of 14, had 5 fours and a 6 with a strike rate of 214. Well played. Daniel Williams, 14 of 6, 19 of 11 was Asif Hooper, the last wicket to go of 11, and Ryan John was not out with a lovely innings of 21 of 14. Hudson Murray didn't get off the mark, just a 1 delivery he faced, and Sean Delridge's disappointing again. He scored 2 of 4. So in terms of match summary, Bailey Blasters 97 for 5, and Cinnamon Pacers responding with 98 for 4. The Pacers won quite handsomely by 6 wickets. 6 wickets in the 9th over. As usual, of course, we await for the post-match ceremony, and there'll be obviously presentations to be made. And just to let you know that the match to follow in this doubleheader, Nutmeg Warriors will be coming up against Saffron Strikers. That's in match 2. And of course, we'll be on hand to bring you the match. So, just awaiting here. And in case you've just joined us, the Cinnamon Pacers, they've defeated the Bailey Blasters by 6 wickets. So let's go down to Rondell John, who is there for the post-match ceremony. Rondell.
Thank you very much. And I'm here with Micah Narayan. Micah, your final game in this preliminary. Really, the sort of result is not what you were looking for.
I mean, obvious, we didn't want the result that we got. But at the end of the day, it's cricket. I think the other team play above us and they got the victory.
All right, you had a really hard run, a number of your players injured. How did that really feature in today's match?
I think our batting failed us a lot in this tournament. And as you said, our key players got injured, so that put us right back at the back foot. So that kind of hindered us in playing our best game.
All right, well, there you had it. That was Micah Narayan, the real property Grenada Bay Leaf Blasters. And so, Micah, I think this ends your run based on the table and where you would end up. And so we hope to see you all next year.
All right, thank you.
All right, so that was Micah Narayan. We're going to be speaking with Ryan John, the captain of the Cinnamon Pacers. And the Cinnamon Pacers winning this one. So they're going to make it a very interesting now with this victory. It moves them up into a spot where there's a lot to play for. Ryan, a good win today?
Thank you very much.
All right. Tell us about the mindset going into this one. I know you said you wanted them under 100. You did. What did you say to the guys as they went out to bat?
Nothing really. I mean, we planned really well. Not every day you would execute, but I thought that we did very well today. We executed with both bat and ball, and we're just grateful for the victory.
All right. We saw a bit more responsibility in terms of the way you approach these small totals. They can be tricky. Even if you lost the early wicket, we saw the partnership coming in. Cintilla, tell us about his form.
Yeah, he has been doing an immaculate job for our team. Our plan was just to obviously get somebody at the top of the order, batting deep. Obviously, he didn't get through, but he gave us a good start. So we're grateful for that. And Asif and I just said that we were just going to put the nail in the coffin, obviously bring it as close as possible, and we brought it home.
All right, so that was well done. It means that you have one more game and the possibility of moving up the table and making it into the playoffs. Speak to your fans.
Yeah, we just want to say thanks very much to the Nawasa Cinnamon Pacers. We're backing ourselves to get to the playoff and obviously to the final. So keep supporting us. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan, and good luck. And we are going to move straight into the presentations. And we are going to begin the presentation with the Carib Power Hitter. And Paulette Hankey will come and she will present to Dante Alexander, the Carib Power Hitter for this match. All right, Dante, quickly, let me just get a word with you. Carib Power Hitter for this match. You came in, your team was in a spot of bother. What was the mindset in terms of really getting some runs on the board?
Well, the mindset was getting as much as we can and to get the score over and above 100. That was the mindset.
All right. We've seen you with the ball bowling very well. Not really much chances with the bat, but today you came well. What different did you do?
Well, I just plan on hitting one line and a length that I can get a couple dots and probably a wicket and restrict the score as low as possible.
All right. So, well, your run has ended in terms of qualification for the playoffs. What would you say to your supporters, those who have been backing you?
Well, I will just say hard luck, and that's the game.
All right. Thank you very much. That was Dante Alexander, the Carib Power Hitter. We're going to move ahead, and we're moving to the impact bowler and also the man of the match. And that is one person. So Asif Hooper is going to come and receive both prizes. All right, Asif, good victory for you today. You really played a all-round game today. Tell us about your thoughts on the match.
I mean, we had a long discussion this morning about the game, what we needed, what is needed to do going forward in this tournament. I mean, we have not been safe as yet, but we had a long conversation, and we needed these 2 points.
All right, so you've gotten the 2 points. What it is that you would say now to your team and to your fans?
To the team, we know what is needed. To the fans, just keep supporting the Pacers.
All right, so that was Asif Hooper, man of the match, all-round performance today. And so we want to wish him and the Cinnamon Pacers all the best as you go through, hoping to qualify for the playoffs.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, so that was game number 1 right here at the Dream 11 Spiceisle T10. We're getting ready for game number 2, the Nutmeg Warriors. They will be coming up against the Saffron Strikers. One very important encounter for both teams. And so we'll see you in a while.
Everybody charge up. West Indies going high.